The Hired Girl, 2015, is a middle-grade novel by multiple Newbery Award winner Laura Amy Schlitz. Like much of Schlitz's other work, this historical fiction narrative addresses themes of young women's agency, the expectations and circumstances of women's lives, and relationships between those practicing Christianity and Judaism in other historical contexts. Written in the form of a young teen's diary entries, The Hired Girl is a coming-of-age story that traces the hero's growing understanding of herself and tolerance of others. The novel is set in 1911. 14-year-old Joan Skraggs lives on a farm in Pennsylvania with her father and her brothers. Ever since her mother died when she was younger, Joan's life has been miserable. Her abusive father has forced her to quit school to cook and clean for the family, tend to the farm animals, and more. Her refuge from her loveless existence is novels like Little Women and Ivanhoe. Realizing that she no longer has a future and will simply work until she dies, Joan rebels against her father by not doing some of her chores. In a fit of anger, he burns all her books. Seeking escape, she decides to run away from home and get a job in Baltimore as a hired girl. Using money her mother left her, Joan buys a train ticket and gets to the city. However, her plan immediately falls apart. She has nowhere to stay, and when a seemingly friendly man offers to take her to a boarding house, she agrees. However, he is a predator, and after he forcibly kisses her, she runs away until she is completely lost. Sitting down on a park bench, she begins to cry. A young man, Solomon Rosenbach, finds her. Although she is wary of yet another kind stranger, after she tells him her story, Solomon offers to take her home and get her a place on his household staff. He is the oldest son of the Rosenbachs, a wealthy Jewish family that owns a department store in Baltimore. Joan is tall for her age, so when she meets Mrs. Rosenbach, she claims to be 18, renames herself Janet Lovelace, and charms her new employer with her knowledge of books. Janet is in luck because the Rosenbach household needs someone to assist Malka, the strict housekeeper who is now in her 70s. Although at first Janet makes some mistakes, she soon learns the rules of the kosher kitchen, becoming an excellent servant, and also a Shabbos goy for the family, the non-Jewish person who is able to do work on the Jewish Sabbath. One night, when Janet accidentally starts a small fire with the candle she is using to read in her room, Mr. Rosenbach discovers her love of reading and permits her the use of the family's library. The devoutly Catholic Janet attends Mass and meets Father Horst to confess buying some things she doesn't need when out with Mirelle Rosenbach, the family's daughter who has started to become her friend. Father Horst is worried that the Rosenbachs are going to try to convert Janet, which makes her furious. They are good people who have been nothing but accepting of her. However, Father Horst's words make Janet wonder whether she should try to convert the Rosenbachs to Catholicism. Eventually, however, she has a vision of God who explains that all people think their religion is the right one, and that they should be entitled to their own beliefs. Fully ensconced in the household, Janet meets David Rosenbach, the family's younger son. David is flirty, takes her out to the opera, tells her that she reminds him of one of Michelangelo's Sibyls, and uses her as a model for his painting of Joan of Arc. One night, he kisses her. Inspired by the romances in the novel she loves, Janet falls madly in love with David and starts planning their future together. However, David is simply an incorrigible flirt. He tells her that the kiss didn't really mean anything and apologizes. Janet ignores this and instead fixates on how she can transcend the variety of reasons that they can't marry, their religious difference, their class difference, and so on. One day, Janet is sent for the day to the house of Anna Rosenbach, Mrs. Rosenbach's sister. While there, she learns that David is leaving for Paris in a week to study art. Running through the rain that night, Janet rushes into the Rosenbach house, goes into David's bedroom, and confesses her love. Overhearing commotion, the household freaks out to find two unmarried young people alone together in a bedroom. Have they been having sex? Mirelle explains that although David likes kissing girls, Janet is in love with him, revealing that she's been reading Janet's diary. At first, Mr. and Mrs. Rosenbach want to fire Janet for being too forward, but David explains that it's actually his fault that all of this happened. The fact that Janet is only 14 also comes out at this point. Deeply ashamed, Janet tries to leave in the middle of the night, but Malka stops her, giving her a different option. She can continue working for Anna Rosenbach and helping the Rosenbachs on the Sabbath, but on weekdays, she can start going to the school that Mr. Rosenbach has just built. The novel ends with Janet realizing just how much she has grown and changed. She now knows that crushes are different from real love, that class and religious differences can be navigated respectfully, and that she can be an educated woman with a real future ahead of her. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.